Hello, welcome to Living Arts. I'm your host, Jackie Suarez. Thank you for tuning in. As usual, we have a terrific guest for you. We're going to be speaking to Mr. Derek Wright. He has written a couple of books, has worked on an awesome screenplay that's going to be included in the Tribeca Film Festival, and he's here today. Derek, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for coming to our studio today.
Not a problem.
So there's so many different projects that you're involved in.
Yes.
But I want to first, just do a little background on you. I know that you are a retired police detective.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that and when you retired from the force.
Well, I came into the police department, NYPD, in 1986, way before your time. And I retired in 2006. Mm-hmm. I was a detective after 4 years, mm-hmm. and worked in a lot of different places. Everything from buying drugs and guns, mm-hmm. on the streets of New York, in the worst times of New York City drug history, mm-hmm. To solving homicides in the 90s and part of the 9/11 cleanup, mm-hmm. after 2001.
Was becoming a detective in 4 years, I guess, the norm? It seemed like that happened fairly quickly for you.
No, that wasn't the norm at all. Actually, at the time, I think that they said I had the record. Mm-hmm. But I only did 2 years in uniform, mm-hmm. and I became an undercover officer.
Okay.
Undercovers normally get promoted a little bit quicker than everyone else in narcotics because you're buying drugs, guns, you're in very dangerous places, you're putting yourself in harm's way. Mm-hmm. And I did that in 18 months, and I was detective after 4 years, and very quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you must have had, an awesome career that gave you a lot of, I guess, material for the stuff that you've written, and
Yes.
and your screenplays as
Yes.
well. So I mean, even just being a part of 9/11 must have been really, devastating for
Yes.
you, or really traumatic.
Yes, really tough for everyone involved. Lost a couple of good friends, mm-hmm. and still losing people today.
Right, there was just something on the news about that as well.
Yeah.
Now, what are they calling the affliction that people are suffering from, I guess, the dust and the stuff?
Well, yeah, the dust is causing a lot of cancer-related, mm-hmm. issues and developing cancer in a lot of different people that were down there. Mm-hmm. I believe that everyone pretty much involved, when it comes, me included, comes my time to die, they'll find some 9/11 in my lungs because I have an injury as well.
Okay, what type of injury?
Well, they had to go into my right lung after 2006 because something was growing.
Oh, you had a growth.
Yeah, they didn't know what it was, and it started to metastasize from my lung to my liver. And
oh, wow.
so they had to go in and do a biopsy. Thank God it was not cancer. Mm-hmm. So, I pray and think about a lot of people that have been down there and pray for their families because it's bad. It's really bad. I have sarcoidosis, which they know very little about, but they've treated it, and thank God it hasn't grown anymore, so mm-hmm. I'm okay.
Well, best of luck with that.
Thank you.
And I'm sure there's many other people that saw, I guess, Senator Gillibrand, mm-hmm. talking about it, getting some benefits extended, and
right.
some of the first responders today,
right.
just on the news today.
Yeah, that's the Zadroga bill. They were getting ready to actually end that. But Senator and a couple of other politicians saw it necessary to extend it. Mm-hmm. And good for them, because it's very necessary and very needed.
Was just the trauma of all that what kind of prompted you to retire from the force, or you just figured, I have my 20 years in, I'm in one piece, let me get out of here?
Yeah, I think more the latter. I had my time, and I know that my time was over, and it was a great career, and it was just time to let it all go. Mm-hmm. The 9/11 thing kind of pushed me a little closer to the door. Mm-hmm. But it was a change in the department. Bloomberg was coming in, and I really didn't want to have too much to do with his policies.
How so? Like, what in particular?
He changed a lot of policy, a lot of New York City Police Department policy, and I think his attitude just caused a lot of what I was an old-timer at the time, and just pushed us closer to the door, and he really didn't care. Because he was thinking about the money aspect and how much he would have to pay us as opposed to how much he would have to pay a rookie coming in. Mm-hmm. But what he did was, I have this thing in my mind that every old timer that retires and leaves the job, he takes a library of information with him. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what you have in the police departments now across the country. And I think that that's pretty much one of the reasons why you have all of these shootings and bad judgments and things of that nature, because you really have no one with time to train the youngsters.
So they're too inexperienced.
Right.
Right. So maybe they're retiring people too early, or they're not. Right.
Right.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make sense. I mean, I guess with all the things that have been happening, lately, you mentioned before we started taping that it kind of speaks to your book, Dark Blue.
Yes.
So why don't we go ahead and jump right into that? Dark Blue was written in 2004.
Yes.
And so why don't you go ahead and tell our audience about that?
Well, it was completed in 2004. I've written it since pretty much 2000. Mm-hmm. But Dark Blue is a book basically about everything that's happening today. Police officers doing their job, and let me start by saying I believe that New York City police officers are the best in the country. We are the most scrutinized. Mm-hmm. And mistakes happen. Definitely mistakes happen. But I don't, in my heart of hearts, I don't believe that.
Do you feel you're the most scrutinized? Or they are the most scrutinized?
Yes, definitely.
More so than, let's say, the Chicago police or the LAPD?
Yes. And the reason why I say that is because it's probably more of us. And I don't know if Chicago and LA handle as many jobs and situations as patrol cop and NYPD. Mm-hmm. But everyone here seems to have their own take on what a cop should and should not do when they're performing their duty. And everyone really has something negative to say about cops after something bad happens, but who's the first person you're going to call when it hits the fan? You're going to call a cop. Right. Because you would want to put him in between you and the line of trouble. And yeah, I think that we're the most scrutinized. Mm-hmm. But do mistakes happen? Sure. And it seems like more recently than ever. Mm-hmm. But Dark Blue is pretty much what that is. And cops make a bad judgment call. 2 innocent teens, scholars, get shot. What they don't realize is that the fathers of these 2 individuals are active New York City captains of police. And they vow revenge. And revenge is exacted. But by who is the real twist in the book. And I feel very strongly about it. And I think that that's pretty much my best work. Mm-hmm. So I've written a couple of things, but Dark Blue is really what I would like to see on screen one day.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. There isn't, I mean, when you do write something and the story is captivating and you kind of see it in your mind, you kind of see it on the screen.
Yes.
You kind of look forward to having it come to life that way.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, do you have plans to turn this into a screenplay, or have you already?
Well, it was written originally as a screenplay. Mm-hmm. I was trained at NYU, mm-hmm. and that's what I am. I'm a screenwriter. The books are basically just readapted from the scripts to get more reads, mm-hmm. but I'm a screenwriter. That's mm-hmm. what they are. Okay. That's basically everything that I write, scripts first. Mm-hmm. So the book thing is something my wife basically tricked me into. But no, I'm a screenwriter.
Okay. So then what would be the screenplay that was, I guess, preceded the book for Dark Blue?
The screenplay that preceded it was Concrete Dreams.
Okay.
That was my first project, my baby. Mm-hmm. It was a little gritty, very street, and a lot of people liked it, but very violent, mm-hmm. But it's pretty much what I saw. And saw every day as a cop, especially mm-hmm. when I was in narcotics, mm-hmm. Every day. But my twist is my protagonists are women, mm-hmm. and usually women of color, which seems to be something that's forgotten on TV today and in the movies. Women of color don't get those roles.
Right, no, absolutely. But did you find in your police work that there are a lot of women of color that are criminals?
I can't say that I find a lot of them. But I ran into one in narcotics, and she was pretty much one of the only people mm-hmm. to get away from me. Okay. And I pretty much had a dead to rights, and she found a way out of it.
So she was the one that you kind of based this character on.
Yeah.
So she might come after you one of these days and say, hey, where's my money?
I hope not. But yeah, she was definitely the person in this book, and she did a very good job in what she did, and she got out of it. I don't know how till this day, I don't know how she did it, but she did.
Well, I guess with all of the ins and outs of police work, what I notice at the higher levels of an investigation is that many of these kingpins are either somehow involved with the federal government or in bed with the federal government against another drug lord or something. And it's like you never know the full truth of what's going on.
Right.
So it's like, we are looking for El Chapo. We're not looking for El Chapo. For all we know, El Chapo is sitting over here in Dunkin' Donuts having coffee with somebody. And it's like, I just, I've kind of lost faith in what's said on TV, because you never really know what the full story is.
Yeah.
Don't you find that?
And I'm
so
with you.
this person that got away from you, you were investigating, for all you know, at some higher level, someone decided that, they wanted her to still keep operating, and then your investigation was shut down.
And that.
Right?
That gives me another story, because that could very, very well be true.
Right, part 2.
Yeah. Yeah,
Part
very
2.
well be true.
She was working for the CIA. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got the 2 books. Most recently, you wrote something called When the Dust Settles.
Yes.
And you did this locally here in Peekskill.
Right.
And we were all, just many of the people that I know, and I'd like to just mention that you are one of the people that helped me out with this show that we do. You're nice enough to do that, so thank you very much.
Not a problem.
So tell us about what you wrote, and also where the film is going to be appearing.
Well, When the Dust Settles is a short. It's a crime drama. Pretty much came about from one of the stories that I heard from about one of the people that I used to work with. Don't know if it's factual, but it was interesting enough to draft a story about it without giving the story away. The 9/11 tragedy was bad for a lot of people, but lives were still going on around the 9/11 tragedy, and that's what this is about. It's not necessarily about the incident of 9/11. It's about lives around the situation. And once again, my protagonist is a woman of color.
You want to say that they work for the police force?
They were.
Sorry.
No. She was a New York City police detective, and so was her husband. Her husband was a New York City police officer. White Shield is what we called him. And they had a very interesting incident that led to a couple of deaths. But and from those deaths, my protagonist found a way to try to plant the bodies at the 9/11 scene at Ground Zero. Nothing ever. I've never seen anything on screen like it.
Nope.
And for the short list of people that have seen it so far, say the same. So we're hoping that it's going to do pretty well at Tribeca.
Okay, so now how did you become involved in the Tribeca Film Festival?
Well, I was always interested in Tribeca because it seems like their focus is on New York City films. What's more New York City than the NYPD, than the 9/11 tragedy, women of color. So I think that we have all the different facets that they're looking for. And hopefully they'll think the same.
Okay, so then, so you submit it to them. And just to be, I'm a nut for technical stuff. So you just submit like a DVD?
Well, what they require is that you upload it onto Vimeo and have it password protected so they can look at it when they like to. So that's what we did. And the DVD there's going to be, from what I heard, thousands of people that submit their projects. So I think it'll be a little easier for them to be able to hit a link and look at it rather than plug in a DVD.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I'm sure they have different people looking at different things. I mean, somebody's not going to sit there and watch 1,020-minute.
Right. True.
Right.
True. Well, we're hoping it's submitted, and we're just hoping that it actually gets in front of Mr. De Niro so he can see it. I believe this is going to sell itself.
So what's the end game? What's the end game? You want this film to be... What's the goal? What would you like to have happen?
Well, we would love for someone to see it in a position of power within a major network that can see the vast possibilities in it and say, you know what, this would be a great weekly show. And we can expand from the short and take it to a lot of different places. because they have very interesting. We have very interesting characters in there, and we think that it'll do well as a weekly, or
as some of the people have been murdered in the project.
right.
Wouldn't
There's a whole lot of other people that haven't been, and we're setting them up for it. But we have a lot of different.
Well, I mean,
characters.
hasn't that story like come to an end, or wouldn't it be
No.
like there would have to be another part of it
No, not at all. Because every week you could introduce new characters.
from that whole
Right,
whole
right.
squad or
Right,
that
right.
whole scenario? Okay, I hear you.
Right. Well, what Jackie's not telling you is that she was part of it as well.
Stop it.
She's a star in the short.
No, you see, now you're blowing my cover.
Yeah, right. You might be one of those people to get knocked off, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
right. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, I mean, we're definitely the people that were either wanted to support you or come and see it. So what what do they need to know?
Well, we can't really show it to large audiences yet because that would violate Tribeca's rules. So after it's in, prayerfully, we could show it. We're actually trying to put something together at the Paramount here and then maybe even show it for free. Just come on in and take a look at it and tell us what you think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
All right, so then we'll look forward to hearing what's going to happen with that.
Yes, thank you.
And other you have something that you have in town with your wife. It's called Just a Place Inc.
Yes.
Now tell me about that and what you guys are up to over there.
Well, Just a Place Inc. is my wife's idea. It's her business. It's a not-for-profit. She has a creative arts program for young girls, young boys, mostly involving dance. She has all kinds of dance, hip-hop, ballet, and what she specializes in is praise dance. So she does something with Mount Olivet Church here. Praise dance is spiritual-based dance that they would do inside of mostly Baptist churches. And she's getting some pretty favorable reviews from her choreography because she's an experienced dancer. New York school teacher for about 28 years. So she's trying to retire soon, which we're trying to push her to keep working. But we don't need two of us home at the same time.
Oh boy,
no.
yeah, no, I know somebody else that's facing that.
No, we don't need that. Oh no. But I have the performing arts portion of Just a Place where I'm trying to see if we could put some of my stuff on stage with some of her kids.
Kind of mentor them.
Right.
Are you teaching acting?
No, I'm not teaching acting. But she actually has people on staff that do something like that. I'm just trying to submit some work for them to act too.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
so
they would be like exclusively for Just a Place?
For them, yes.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Now where is this located?
Where is the school? Well, right now she's doing something with Mount Olivet Baptist Church, and it's local right here in Peekskill, and she's getting a lot of different young boys and girls from the community to come out and dance with her, and it's growing every day.
So if someone wanted to find out some more information about it, where would they go to?
They can go to justaplaceinc.com and just click on, and you'll see all the information you need. Big bright website, bright website with all the smiling faces.
So how long have you guys been doing that?
We've only really been up here for about 4 years, so she's been up and running for about 2.5.
Okay. All right. So now you have another, like you weren't busy enough,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Not busy enough. Boy, you retired and decided you were going to do like all these various things.
That's right.
So you have something that you have with a partner of yours. You have leverage.org.
Yes.
Tell me about the organization and what you guys are doing with that.
Well, Leverage, we're what we do is we lecture to inner city kids. Mostly the kids in high school about to go to college, and try to give them a heads up on the dangers that are out there in the world around them that they're not familiar with. We give them information on stop and frisk in the streets. So say they're in New York City and that kind of thing happens, we're trying to tell them how they should respond to the police. Car stops. We have a interactive workshop with life-size police cars where we put the kids behind the wheel and we're acting as cops, we pull them over and we see how they react and we critique them, and in a creative way, so that when they are behind the wheel of a vehicle, they won't make any further movements or do anything that the police will deem dangerous and hurt them.
You say a life-size police car, right? Wow, that's interesting. How did you pull that off?
Well, they're actually not police cars. They're just cardboard cutouts.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we've designed 2 cars, a police car and like a Mercedes. And we put them behind the wheel of the Mercedes and we pull them over. We have sirens, the whole bit, and put them in a situation where they're going to be a little nervous, but we prefer for them to be nervous at the workshop than be nervous behind the wheel of an actual car stop. And do or say something that's going to get them removed from that car.
Right, or do or say something that's going to get them killed.
Right.
Do you believe, in your opinion, that I don't want to, it's not just, well, for the most part, it is black people. But do you believe that there's something that you can change about your behavior and what you're doing that would stop a police officer from shooting you? It is on the person that's being shot. That is really their responsibility, and they are provoking and bringing this on themselves.
Well, without trying to speak for a police officer in the situation, because that's something I try not to do.
And I mean, in just subtle things. I mean, not walking down the street with a straight razor. I mean, just
right.
Our
motto at Leverage is to get home safely. And what we try to tell the people that come to our workshops is the least amount of time that you spend in front of this police officer that stops you, the better. So kill the officer with kindness. You get pulled over, here's what you do. You turn your engine off. You might want to take your keys out and put them on the dashboard and put your hands up there. Roll your window down, put your hands up and wait for the officer to come. Yes, officer, how are you? What can I do for you? Yes, you can tell me why you stopped me. If you're one of those people that your information is in the glove box, ask for permission to go to the glove box before you do it, and tell the officer why. Just little things like that might get you hurt if you make a quick movement. Because what a lot of people don't seem to realize is that police officers have families as well. They want to go home, just like you do. They want to go home as well. And doing a car stop on a person that you don't know, it's a dangerous situation. It's probably one of the incidents that most cops get hurt doing. So we just try to promote respect. Give respect to the officer. Hopefully you'll get it in return. And if you don't, then when you get home or you get wherever you're going safely, there are different things that you can do to complain about the behaviorism that you received. But we want you to get home safely.
Right. So it's never. I mean, and there's a part of me that knows that as well. I mean, I don't care how angry you are or what your situation is. Just be quiet.
There you go. Answer questions. Kill them with kindness. I mean, is it going to really take anything from your man or womanhood just to be nice? Get out of this situation and get home safely. You go your way. You might have a ticket when you go home. You'll deal with that. But I'd rather you go home with a ticket than not make it home at all.
Exactly.
So
what can we tell our audience about what Derek Wright will be up to in the future? What is your next project?
Well, Derek Wright is about to write a cartoon for Adult Swim. It's an idea from my wife.
Adult Swim?
Adult Swim, yes.
A funny cartoon?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, funny cartoon. A little cursing.
Like a South Park type thing?
Oh, yeah, but with black characters.
Okay.
It's called Public School. It's going to probably be one of the funniest things out there. But
so wait a minute, when you write a cartoon, I guess you're going to have somebody animate it for you?
Yes, definitely. But when's the last cartoon that you've seen with a bunch of young black faces, black, Hispanic?
But is it young kids or?
It's going to be young kids in school.
Oh, okay.
And the stuff that happens in New York City public schools is funnier than most people think.
Well, that should be very, very interesting.
I hope so.
And what else? I think we already went into how they can reach you personally. Let's say they wanted to buy one of the books or get a hold of the books. How can they do that? Because you're on Amazon, right?
The books are on Amazon, both Dark Blue and Concrete Dreams. I have a Facebook account, Derek Wright.
For the movie itself?
Well, not for the movie, because that's not really the only thing we're doing. You can go to leverage.org, where you can see most of the stuff that we're doing as far as that business is concerned. And hopefully you'll hear my name a little bit more.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you very much for bringing us all this information and all the good things that you have brought to the table here. I'm looking forward to reading both of these books and seeing your stuff as well.
Thank you very
on
much.
the big screen.
That's right.
I'll be there at, you know, the Paramount.
Our screening.
Our screening, that's right. And to the Living Arts audience, I want to thank you for tuning in. As always, it's been a pleasure. Go ahead and check us out on Facebook. Always great information there, things that are happening around town. We have older episodes on our YouTube channel, so always good to click on that and see some things that we've done in the past. And we will see you again soon. Peace.